is an individual reading. What is the message for today? Like you need some patience at the time being. You might be going through some ish. This Princess of Wands. You are feeling yourself though, nonetheless. You might be going through some hard times. A lot of unknown things happening around you. Maybe you're feeling like you're defeated, or just, your old life is defeated. But the Princess of Wands still kind of holds herself in this. She has a crystal on her third eye, a crystal wand, and it's not bringing her down. If anything, it's making her more ferocious. Hard times will either make or break a person. It really, you can tell the character of someone when they go through hard times. What do they resort to? Do they turn on people that they love? Do they lie? Do they cheat? Do they steal? Do they turn on themselves? Do they have respect for people still? Do they take a victim mentality? We are all going to go through hard times, and what really is going to set us apart from other people is how we carry ourselves during these hard times. A lot of people might not understand you or know that you're even going through hard times. If you walk a certain way, people might never think, they might think that you're spoiled. They might think that you have everything. Meanwhile, you're suffering, but the way that you carry yourself says, I am the Princess of Wands. I am strong and fiery and a little bit feisty. And if anything, it's going to make me stronger, right? I don't see these hard times lasting, like the quote, this too shall pass. Good times will turn into bad, and they'll run out eventually. Happy times are fleeting, and bad times don't last forever, even though it might feel like it does. So either way, either flip of the coin, you just have to be present in the moment as of right now, and just know that it's a fleeting moment in time. If you're suffering, know that you'll have grace and a deep breath, and no more pain or suffering in the future eventually. And when you're going through a very exciting time in your life, whatever it is that you're celebrating, that elated feeling doesn't last forever either. It's kind of like running after a butterfly. You're kind of trying to catch that happy feeling all the time. So if you learn how to balance the good and evil of what's happening around you, right? Everyone has a problem that they're dealing with, at least one, right? And everyone has good things that are happening to them and things that they can be grateful for. If you can balance the two together and really not be affected, but just be a witness to the occurrences around you, your environment, the things that are happening to you, you almost become consciously detached as to protect yourself from people, that might be ill-willed. Maybe you're being tested by people and their thoughts, and they're putting you out on an island by yourself. This person is standing, again, amongst the rubble of thought, and alone, so maybe you feel like you're kind of on your own lonely island at this time, but it's really up to you whether or not you accept defeat, or do you accept it just as a really hard chapter in your life. If you have the temperance and you have the power to balance both, know how to find faith in a terrible time, know how to find happiness or freedom in a moment of scarcity, you will be able to free your soul at any point in time, because the freedom starts from within. Whatever happens around you, whether good or bad, it doesn't affect you as much. Like, you can be affected by either, but it's not going to change you. You're stronger than that. And once you learn how to do that, you're gonna gain some power. You're obviously gonna be even more powerful than you think that you are. The Princess of Wands is pretty, feisty, and so when she starts glowing up, with the Four of Pentacles, there's a lot of power to be had. You're gonna be sitting on your throne, and you're gonna be really, kind of charging and navigating through life in this a more powerful position, more steady, rock steady position. So let's pull some other cards here. The Two of Swords. Maybe you're up against a lot of people at this time. You know that you're right in your soul, but there's a lot of people around you that are not believing in you. You're holding in your thoughts because people are clashing with you and how you think at this time. We have the Five of Swords and the Two of Swords. There's a lot of opinions being had, and you as a Scorpio would kind of go against the grain already. You kind of question authority, you question what's being told to you before just believing it, right? So while you're glowing up and while you're doing, your inner workings, you're not saying anything to anybody about it. Nonchalantly coming into the picture here. The moon and the sun. Wow. Look at that. Interesting. I'm thinking that if you're doubting yourself, you have to really start learning how to tune into your intuition, your gut feeling, your soul's want, right? Once you can listen fully to yourself and know that when you say yes to something, it's because you actually want to say yes. Like, you know how to say no. You know how to evaluate whether something's good or not for you. But I think you're being challenged at this time in the way that you're thinking. I think that you're kind of going against a large group of people, but you know your truth. You know your truth, even though you're kind of feeling a little tested, like when there's a group of people and they go up against you, and even though you're saying the exact opposite and you know in your heart that it's true, sometimes you can feel pressured to go with the group. It's human nature. So I think you've learned to kind of keep your ideas to yourself, keep your inner desires, your dreams to yourself, because if you share them with the wrong people that think differently than you, it's detrimental. You can feel like you're alone, in the dark, basically. It doesn't matter how fabulous you are, they'll put you out there in the cold, but when you're alone and you're put out into the cold, you can tune into your own soul's strength and learn how to alchemize the good and the bad, the evil, and the blessed in life. And I think that once you learn how to speak your truth against the grain, you have to be smart when you do that. Obviously, you can't just be like this out of control, feisty person that always is, debating, large groups of people. I'm talking about if if you're going up against a family, or maybe a group of friends or colleagues that all seem to think a certain way, but you don't, and you're kind of keeping your thoughts to yourself because you feel like you're the only person that feels this way, that thinks this way. It's kind of making you really feel alone. But once you kind of break out of that, that's like an intellectual hold that you're putting on yourself. It's assumptions of how people think of you. You'll never really truly know how everyone thinks of you. And even if they tell you, they could be lying. They could be, they could think one way one day and change their mind the next. It's just the way of people. So I think what really is important is knowing what you think about yourself and how you feel in your gut, in your stomach. When you know that something isn't right for you, or a person is, giving you that like knot in your stomach all the time, even though you want to be with them and you're attracted to them, but they give you like a very ill feeling, right? Your body is rejecting their vibes. But I think it's time to kind of come into your own. If you are courageous enough to explain yourself in a eloquent way, know how to describe what you're thinking, in a very intellectual way. Think about what you're saying before you say it, where you're calm, cool, and collected, and you kind of sit and you keep your heart open while you do so. There might be a group of people that kind of attack you, but if you stay in your heart energy, and you stay unbothered by these tests of emotion, and you win the test of not reacting to people that are trying to dig at you, I think you're going to, really get everything that you want. You're going to gain power. You're going to learn how to alchemize good and bad people. You're really going to get your wishes. There might be a man, a very loving man coming in to give you a lot of your wishes, or to help you out in that, department. I think once you learn how to speak your truth, even when you're on your own lonely island, and you know how to just be eloquent and poetic in what you're trying to explain, and hold, true to what you actually believe in, I think that a lot of good things are going to come towards you at this time. Even a person, they're going to like that you can, you do work on yourself. Justice we have here. So if there's a group of people here that are kind of putting you out, I think that things are going to turn around. You'll get your justice eventually. Sometimes karma takes a lot longer than you want it to. Sometimes, when I was a younger Scorpio, I wanted to put karma into my own hands immediately. Ooh, and I had the best plans, and I just wanted it to happen now. I wanted to see the karma in front of my eyes. And that's the tricky thing about karma, is that sometimes if you're lucky, you'll be able to see it come through in real time. But a lot of times it's going to happen behind the scenes when you're not even aware that it's happening. You'll just hear about it one day, or you'll know because the person's going to act differently towards you, or whatever the karma entails. Sometimes you'll never see it, but it might take years. It might take 5-10 years for you to actually feel like you got some kind of justice in this world when there's a bunch of narcissists and manipulative people around. But it's okay. 7 of Pentacles. Partnership involved here. You might be going through hard times financially, or you're just kind of a little bit wary. The Queen of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. Pentacles. That's a sexy match. I think if you were offered some sort of partnership, you're going to turn into a Queen of Pentacles kind of vibe here. I see that there might be some sort of offer here, a partnership, a business deal, a new job, somewhere where you kind of collaborate with one or a multiple group of people. You're kind of looking at your finances at the time and just trying to figure out how am I going to do this? You know, I can't sustain the suspense of not knowing. King of Swords and the King of Cups. You might have two men looking at you, actually, at this time. Two kings, nonetheless. Interesting. Two kings. One king is a little bit more cool, calm, cool, and collected, and one king has a really huge heart. Six of Swords, you're going to have to make a decision between two people. You're going to have to make a decision between two people coming towards you soon. I don't know if there's going to be an offer between two people or just one. But they're coming for you. I mean, we have a lot of major arcana here. The Devil comes in and says hello. There's a lot of people looking at you at this time and seeing that you're glowing. You're glowing up, and there's two major, more mature men looking at you at this time and kind of considering you. While you're freaking out about your money and your life and your existential crisis here, there's two men that are looking at you like they're going to swoop you up. You might start some sort of partnership, some sort of business that's going to help you attain this Queen of Pentacles level of life. You're going to really be able to sit and kind of just relax with that, hopefully, but you're going to have to choose. And it might be a hard choice. Sometimes choosing between two different lives, like, those Choose Your Own Adventure books back, when you were growing up. It's hard to make a choice sometimes. It really is. You don't want to make the wrong choice, and you really have to think about what it could be like, because you'll never really know for sure. You just have to listen to your heart, and that's kind of what I'm feeling here. Is like, even if you go against the grain, against a lot of people here, you have to go with what your heart says. Because money is going to be there, or it's not going to be there. If you marry someone just for money and then you become poor, will you feel the same about this person once your money is gone? If you're living in like a cardboard box with this person, would you be able to make each other laugh, and would you want to hug them still? Maybe it's not important to you, but if it is, and you have to choose between two men, two mates, I would say listen to your heart. So, because lifestyle, money, it does dictate your life. It just depends on if you're more about lifestyle or love. How are we going to end this message here? You might be getting some messages from loved ones, angels, dreams at this time. If you have a dream or something, you're talking to someone that has passed over, someone that's trying to help you. It says gentle messages of love and support are drifting your way from loved ones and angels, feathers from heaven. So, if you're undecided about something and you still don't know what to do, sometimes it's best just to do nothing, ask the universe for guidance, maybe take some nights to yourself before you make a decision on something, see if you have any dreams that can help you. Wait until you find the answer, and you'll hear it eventually. Some message will let you know which way to go in life.